आईपीएल ऑक्शन हो चुका है, और आईपीएल ऑक्शन हो और लोग आरसीबी को ट्रोल ना करे, ऐसा कभी हो सकता है क्या? तो शुरू हो चुका है आईपीएल ऑक्शन में आरसीबी का बैशिंग। लेकिन आई एम वेरी सरप्राइज यार, इस बार तो मतलब आई फेल्ट, इतने सालों से आई हैव बीन फॉलोइंग आरसीबी का ऑक्शन, एंड आई वाज आल्सो वन ऑफ देम जो आरसीबी को काफी ज्यादा ट्रैश करता है आफ्टर एन ऑक्शन, बट दिस टाइम आई एम एक्चुअली हैप्पी। आई एम हैप्पी द वे दे हैव शोन a certain amount of sense in not picking the biggest of the names, not being as brashy, but they have picked up a side which they believed that that they can build up a core around at least for the next 3 years. RCB हमेशा team completely revamp कर देती है, but they have stuck to certain guns, and they have built and certain thought processes, certain strengths, and they have built up a team around that, which gives me a sense of stability, which is not very common with a franchisee like RCB. What is your thought?
इंटरेस्टिंग शोमी, आई थिंक ये तुम्हारा ऑप्टिमिज्म है और ये तुम्हारा एक्सेसिव ऑप्टिमिज्म आरसीबी के लिए व्हिच मेक्स यू थिंक लाइक दैट। सी, इंटरेस्टिंग है, बट आई एम नॉट वेरी श्योर अबाउट हाउ गुड इज इट गोइंग टू ट्रांसलेट। थोड़ा मुझे अजीब सा लगा एट सम स्टेजेस की, थोड़ा मतलब उतना समझ नहीं आया कि लाइक क्या चल रहा है दिमाग में। तो थोड़ा, एंड अभी वी वर जस्ट डूइंग सीएसके, आई लव सीएसके मच मोर देन आरसीबी, तो थोड़ा वो भी है, थोड़ा बायसेस, टेक इट विद अ पिंच ऑफ सॉल्ट। लेकिन आई वुड हैव माय एप्रीहेंशंस दैट हाउ गुड दिस टीम इज एंड क्या होता है। तो लेट अस डीप डाइव इन एंड सी कि व्हाट आर आवर थॉट्स।
I am absolutely. I don't know whether I'll continue discussing any further episodes of IPL with you or not, because I can see the you are exactly the kind of guy that I
The
don't want to
troll.
talk to. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah.
See,
But anyway, but yeah, see why I'm really hopeful about this year of RCB squad is that कि बैटिंग अच्छी है, अच्छा खासा ऑलराउंडर लिया है, बॉलिंग डिसेंट है, खराब नहीं है, भुवी को वापस लिया है, आई थिंक दैट्स अ ह्यूज अप एंड अ ह्यूज पॉजिटिव। स्पिन इज अ प्रॉब्लम, इज अ डेफिनेट प्रॉब्लम, बट स्पिन तो पिछले साल भी प्रॉब्लम था। वहां से भी अगर टीम प्लेऑफ तक पहुंची है, तो आई वुड गिव इट टू देम।
तो देखो, भूवी पे मुझे लगता है कि इफ ही इज द भूवी हु इज टुडेज भूवी वर्सेस यस्टरडेज भूवी वाला फैक्टर है, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। प्लस आई डोंट नो उतना पेस होगा कि नहीं। नाउ मीडियम पेसर, सपोज इफ ही इज नॉट एबल टू गेट द स्विंग गोइंग, तो जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट, व्हाट ही वुड गो थ्रू इन चेन्नई स्वामी, कितना पिटेगा। तो वो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत ही क्रिटिकल फैक्टर है।
बट
स्पिन
देखो
इज ऑलवेज अ वीकनेस।
उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अगर तुम ऐसे सोचते हो, भुवी का सी द हिज विकेट टेकिंग एबिलिटी इन आईपीएल हैज बीन एब्सोल्युटली आउटस्टैंडिंग, राइट? सो चिन्नस्वामी में तो हर कोई मार खाता है, तो आप बॉलर को चिन्नस्वामी में मार खाने के बेसिस पे आप उसको इवेल्युएट नहीं करोगे। इफ ही
ठीक है,
इवन अगर वो
गुड
मार
पॉइंट।
खाता है और विकेट विकेट लेकर जाता है, तो आई थिंक दैट इज द वे टू गो इन चिन्नस्वामी। बाकी तो इसीलिए आई थिंक चिन्नस्वामी पे बेस करके ही दे हैव ऑलवेज सेड दैट दे वांट टू पिक अप अ बैटिंग हैवी साइड। एंड लास्ट ईयर भी हमने ऐसा ही देखा था कि दे वर ट्राइंग टू गो फॉर बैटर्स, उस हिसाब से दे हैड एक्चुअली डन अ पैथेटिक जॉब लास्ट ईयर व्हेन इट केम टू पिकिंग अप द bowlers. Compared to that, I think they have done a very good job this year.
सो आई थिंक दैट इज क्रिटिकल, क्योंकि देखो वो होम कमिंग या प्लेइंग योर होम गेम्स आरसीबी के लिए उतना ज्यादा मतलब उतना ज़्यादा स्ट्रेंथ की तरह नहीं प्ले करता, क्योंकि उनको कुछ उस तरीके से मिलता नहीं है। एंड देन द लॉट ऑफ प्रेशर आई थिंक एंड्स अप कमिंग ऑन द बैट्समैन कि देखो, दे हैव टू फायर। और हर बार यू कांट, लाइक नो मैटर हाउ स्मॉल इज द ग्राउंड और हाउ गुड इज द बैटिंग पिच, लेकिन थिंक दैट एवरी टाइम यू गो आउट देयर एंड गेट 220, दैट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन। आई मीन, लाइक दिस इज द प्रैक्टिकलिटी। तो लेकिन वही मुझे लगता है ना कि आरसीबी हमेशा थोड़ा बैलेंस मिस आउट करता है। और इस बार भी मुझे लगा कि स्पिनर्स उतने स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं लगे, बॉलिंग, फास्ट बॉलिंग, लाइक भुवी था लास्ट टाइम, सिराज था, तो मतलब लाइक ठीक है, इट्स ओके, बट कुछ उतना स्पार्कली नहीं है, कुछ उतना मुझे लाइक उस तरीके की डेप्थ या उस तरीके की फायर पावर नहीं लगी, व्हिच व्हिच आई वुड हैव होप्ड टू सी। मुझे लग रहा था कि आरसीबी हैज़ जस्ट रिटेन्ड कोहली एज़ अ बिग नेम एंड कपल अदर गाइज़, so I was thinking they are looking to really go through a transformation. It is a transformation, but I can understand why there's so much of a troll and why so much of yeah.
No,
connotation is there to what they have done.
I completely feel it has been like, okay, it's a thing to troll RCB's auction on social media, and people are just riding on this trend to get a like a grab a few views and engagement, which is fair enough from their point of view maybe, but it also shows the lack of brain. It just let's just again reinforces this idea in my head that this particular generation is absolutely brainless. And please, if we are
Yeah,
making a reel out of it, please take this part. Anyway, but
okay.
coming back, I mean, I just believe that when it comes to the batting, they have good power hitters. They have Kohli up there, who is not the biggest power hitter that there can be. But to counter him, they have taken Phil Salt. They have paid a good money for Phil Salt, and they went behind him. Of course, it solves the problem of not having DK in the squad as well. But he also allows Kohli to play the if he and Kohli are opening, he also allows Kohli to play his natural game where he takes a little bit of time, maybe 10 balls or to settle in until unless Kohli has been playing, in some cases, test matches where he even takes a run, he gets run out, and he even takes that kind of rash decisions. But coming back, not to be sarcastic about King Kohli, so I think, yeah, I mean, Phil Salt will allow King Kohli to really get that balance and get that ease into the game kind of a thing. So I think that's where the opening pair will be interesting. They have taken Devdutt Padikkal, which I am extremely elated about. He will definitely not be our first starter in terms of the opener, but Devdutt is a guy who just it feels he belongs to RCB. And at a point of time when I was feeling like, oh my God, why don't you? I mean, if I would have been there on that auction table representing RCB, I would not even mind pulling out a right to match card when it comes to Devdutt because he is so much our own. Of course, a Karnataka player, and I'm too much in favor of, if you are a state franchisee, pull up the guys from your state because they know your home conditions the best. Last year, we did the same thing with, Vijay Kumar Vaishak. We were absolutely stupid to not to play him in certain games, but when he came, he did made some impact. Considering it's Chinnaswamy, you cannot expect a bowler to make absolutely magnanimous impact, but pick up the state players. They know your conditions. So, from that point of view, I'm elated about Devdutt coming back. Also, from the point of view that he's a player. I felt that once he went out of RCB, he kind of got a little, hay where he didn't find the right position in RR. Then he got that trade off to Lucknow, where he also couldn't really find a foot. And eventually, when he came to the India side, I feel he's still finding himself in the India squad, but he's still not that guy which we have seen in the first phases of RCB. So I feel
Yeah,
this will also give the opportunity to the player to grow, which eventually in the context of Indian cricket is huge. So
yeah.
absolutely elated with that first first top two. Then of course you have very good power hitters. Yeah, you have taken Kingdale,
Livingston.
you have Jitesh, you have Livingston, you also have Romario Shepherd out there. So yeah, I mean, I think the batting department really looks solid and pretty deep, if I may say. Bowling, we can discuss, but I think what is your POV? I mean, do you want to counter me on the batting? Dare you not?
So to a great extent, no. The only thing is that the question mark against some of the big names like Livingston, who haven't really been able to live up to their general reputation. And that's a big question because, see, if you look at, see, I love the combination of Kohli and Salt because of late Kohli has been that kind of a batsman who score at a decent pace, but can't be considered explosive. So he kind of like ends up to a certain degree anchoring the innings, and the salt could be that spark or the fire factor. Padikkal, great pick in my opinion, puts a lot of the balance. Then Livingston, I think, see, he has been picked up with a sense of responsibility. Like he would be compared to Maxwell's of the world, he would be compared to like those kind of a hitters, but he in RCB's side, I do not see like like he has to really stand up and deliver, in my opinion, for RCB to make a big impact. Then again, Tim David is a great pick, and then Jitesh, I agree. So there is a depth. Again, the players and the names are not like they have to really step up and go about delivering. So I think batting is decent. I won't really question too much over there and would broadly agree.
Yeah. I think even when we look into the bowling department, I think the I have great faith on Yash Dayal, and except for that one Rinku Singh disaster, I think he has been a great bowler, and we have seen that time and again, right? Not only in last year's IPL, where he just came back from having after that disastrous season in the previous one, he came back and he delivered in very crucial moments, and he has gone out openly to say that how Virat Kohli has backed him. So great addition there. Left hand seamer is a rare commodity, and having a good left arm seamer is, I think, that will always help. Uh, so Yash Dayal, who's
Hazelwood,
our Hazelwood, of course. Hazelwood is such a. We
yeah,
have talked
that's a
about
bit,
Hazelwood when we were talking about
yeah,
The
Australia,
Australian
yeah,
pace trio. He's a different entity when it comes to IPL, but he was really good in that 2021 season when he was a part of RCB in that Triple H setup.
yeah,
So, pretty happy about Hazelwood's inclusion. You have Tushara, we have Bhuvi. Rightly, as you say that Bhuvi has there are two versions of Bhuvi from before and the current one. So we will have to wait and watch which one turns up in the stadium. But at
yeah,
the same time, if Bhuvi gets a little bit of assistance, I think that will really help for Bhuvi. Whom I'm really excited about is Rasikh Dar. Rasikh Dar, I was telling you his story yesterday that
yeah,
he was really a prodigy player in his in age group cricket in under 19. He was one who was mentored significantly by Irfan Pathan and was kind of handpicked and
yeah,
mentored. He used to give those not I mean around 130 kind of a bowling option, but he used to really create those impacts. Unfortunate incident, got banned by BCCI because of an age fraud issue, came back last year. He was initially picked up by MI actually, in the for the net bowling, or the I think in the squad, I don't recall. But then last year I think that was I really was very impressed by him, in terms of the way he was executing his deliveries in the DC camp, and especially in those matches where there were like a lot of runs scored in a match where I think where there was more than 500 runs scored. He was still having an economy of somewhere around 7.58, picked up a 3 for, I think, incredible accolades that he has gathered over this last year. Even I think I was seeing him in a few of these local leagues, I think DPL or somewhere. Quite good slowers, quite good execution, if I may say so. So yeah, I mean, very excited about seeing how Rasik Dar actually comes up. So pretty happy with the pace bowling department. When it comes to the spin bowling, I don't. Yeah,
just a thought here that how do you see what would be the final pick for amongst these four? So Yash Dayal, Hazelwood, Bhuvi, Rasikdar. Who do you see most often to be playing in the
Dale for
final
sure.
11?
Dale for
Okay.
sure, because he was the retention player. Hazelwood, depending on
Hazelwood
how
for sure
the combination comes up in
looks
terms of
like.
your foreign players. Now there's a benefit there now, especially this season, because last season you were restricted with FAF, of course. So
Yeah,
there were another three to pick up from, but this time you will have that option going in, because in all likelihood it will be Virat again, who will become the captain. So you will have that
yeah.
flexibility in your hand. So I think it should be Hazelwood. Bethel is a very interesting buy actually. He has been doing really well for England cricket. Uh, Tushara has been good. He has been bred in the MI camp and has done well for them. But yeah, I think if I have to pick my top three who will be most rotated within, it will be, of course, Dayal, Hazelwood, and Bhuvi slash Rasik. Bhuvi, depending on how his form picks up in the earlier phases of the game. But
And
yeah, I
how do
think
you
Bhuvi's
see
experience will also come into the picture in the later part. So we'll have to wait and watch that.
and how do you see Ngidi?
Not a starter for
Not a
sure.
starter. Yeah. No, I think I see Hazelwood to be always there. I think given the kind of the form he is, the way he is bowling, I see Hazelwood to be always there. Yash Dayal, of course, I think a great prospect. And to be honest, I don't know too much about Rasikh Dhar, so that's an interesting commentary from your side. But yeah, I think Bhuvi will get a edge given the kind of the experience and which he brings into the table. So yeah. And
Yeah.
they will spend 10.75 crores for Bhuvi. So, so
I think
you know,
it was very wise of them to go behind Bhuvi actually. I mean, I was very impressed by a few things that RCB did. Of course, one of the blunders they could have done was picking up that Venkatesh Iyer. They went behind Venkatesh Iyer till 20 crore. I mean, imagine spending 20 crore on a Venki Iyer. It would have been a disaster. They just got saved there. But I think going behind Bhuvi was a wise choice because also he brings in that kind of a stability. He's a wicket taker bowler, and if he can create those impacts right in the beginning, I think those things will actually bring in a lot
add
of
a lot.
value.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
how do you
yeah,
see the spin? I mean, that is a thing where it looks to be really, really weak. I mean, I only see
yeah.
Krunal Pandya actually as an all-rounder spinner, and then who else is there?
There's
Uh,
Suresh, there's Liam Livingstone's and Krunal Pandya as the main. I think
literally, yeah,
the spinners that we can talk about. Krunal Pandya is also like literally he isn't really a typical spinner. He's a very a slow kind of a bowler. But he really uses the conditions very well. And what we have till now seen of Krunal Pandya is, he usually comes, he does those few overs here and there, maybe 2 ओवर इधर करेगा 2 ओवर उधर करेगा एंड करके वो ना थोड़ा बहुत एक आध विकेट उठा के ले जाएगा. तो वो कहाँ से आता है, कहाँ से एक आध विकेट उठा के ले जाता है, इट डजंट ऑलवेज कम इन टू आर लाइक ऐसा कभी नहीं ऐसे नहीं होता है कि ऑडियंस को बहुत लगता है कि अरे वाह बहुत कुछ कर गया,
बहुत
लेकिन वो अपना काम थोड़ा बहुत करके चला जाता है. That is a
true,
part
true,
about
true.
Krunal. Liam, I have good hopes on him. There's this guy called Suyash Sharma, which RCB has picked up from the KKR camp. Now, this guy, I was very, very impressed by him in 2022, which is when, sorry, 2023, which is when he came up as that mystery spinner and really created that havoc for RCB, picked up Kohli, etc. And then 2024, he didn't get a lot of game time. This year, I have seen him in a few leagues, and he wasn't really like I think DPL etc. Maybe बहुत अच्छा कुछ नहीं कर रहा था. So his form might be a concern. But what I remember him from the season before this, I think I was really impressed by him, and he was really executing those deliveries in Eden Gardens really well. So from that point of view, I'm very positive because if you just break down the entire thing, आरसीबी के पास bowling के थ्रू होम एडवांटेज कभी नहीं होगा. You need good spin, and you need good spin to play outside. And when you're saying outside, you are mainly looking at Chepauk, you're mainly looking at Eden Gardens, right? So if you have a guy who is well equipped and understands Eden Gardens conditions well because of his experience, I think that can add up to some a little extra. So I wouldn't really bash out the inclusion. But yeah, I mean, could they have gone for somebody better? Yes, of course. But
तो
that has
देखो
never
ये
been,
चीज
yeah.
तो देखो ये चीज मुझे लगता है कि आई थिंक अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ मिस क्योंकि एक तो होता है कि आई हैव एन ऑप्शन एंड आई डू नॉट प्ले द प्लेयर इन क्योंकि कंडीशंस आर नॉट देयर। दूसरा ये कि मेरे पास है ही नहीं, तो यहाँ पे इनके पास ये एक बहुत ही मेजर चैलेंज है कि लाइक यू आर रियली लुकिंग एट सुयश शर्मा। येस, ऑफ कोर्स एज़ यू पॉइंटेड आउट ही हैड बीन वेरी इंपैक्टफुल, लेकिन यू कांट कंपेयर हिम इन द लीग्स ऑफ अश्विन्स एंड नूर अहमद्स ऑफ दैट वर्ल्ड। तो उस लेवल का शायद अभी नहीं होगा, तो वहाँ पे मुझे लगता है थोड़ी-सी वीकनेस है। बट ठीक है, आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स दे माइट हैव थॉट अबाउट इट कि देखो हमें लाइक you can only optimize that much and go from there, तो वैसे होगा।
See, the whole thing is that if I will only draw parallels from last year and compare to what you have put me on a spot for CSK. I know RCB through years, like it runs in my vein, right? So I feel that last year, if the team could perform with absolutely non-existent spin weaponry, it was only your Karan Sharma and Mayank Dagar and your and Maxwell doing those one or two spells here and there. If we could sweep through with that, this looks like a much better bowling unit. but also saying that every team picks up their strength, and RCB has been very vocal about it that they want to moreover has been very vocal about this fact that they want to have that very strong batting lineup, and that is where their strengths are. So आप अगर उनके choices देखोगे, everything reflects of the same thing. So I'm at least happy that they had a mindset, they have discussed it as a think tank, and I have huge amount of respect and confidence on the think tank, honestly, because it's Andy Flower. He's a qualification machine. And now there is Dinesh Karthik, who is very, very intelligent. So I do not have any reason not to believe in that think tank. So if they have taken this call, especially somebody like Dinesh Karthik, who has seen through and through, so I feel the squad is in good hands.
गुड, गुड, अमेजिंग ऑप्टिमिज्म दैट इज़ अमेजिंग थोड़ी बायसनेस भी लग रही है मुझे, लेकिन ठीक है, आई थिंक थोड़ा तो टाइम के साथ ही पता चलता है एंड इंटरेस्टिंग होगा शमी एज़ वी गो अलोंग द अलोंग रिव्यूइंग अदर टीम्स एज़ वेल, तो थोड़ा-सा हमें सोचना पड़ेगा लाइक इफ यू थिंक अबाउट सनराइज़र्स बैटिंग एंड एमआई's बैटिंग एंड लखनऊ's बैटिंग, तो उसके अगेंस्ट वेयर वुड दिस स्टैंड अप? तो एक है कि हम आइसोलेशन में अभी रिव्यू कर रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं, हमें लग रहा है कि ठीक है। लेकिन व्हेन यू रियली थ्रो इन द हेवी वेट्स फ्रॉम द अदर अदर टीम्स तो देखना पड़ेगा कि वैसे उतना होगा कि नहीं। तो थोड़ा इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ा ये बुरी टीम नहीं है, ये टीम काफ़ी फ़ॉर्मिडेबल है। लेकिन लिविंगस्टन हैज़ टू लिव अप टू हिज़ नेम एंड देन फिल सॉल्ट एंड कोहली, सो ये सब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रहेगी कि देखो इफ यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू लाइक कम अप एंड रियली स्टार्ट परफॉर्मिंग तो थोड़ा क्वेश्चन्स रहेंगे, तो
जो
दैट
एक
इज़
मुझे वीकनेस नज़र आ रही है वो ये है कि लेफ्ट हैंड राइट हैंड कॉम्बिनेशन बिल्कुल नहीं है,
बिल्कुल नहीं है।
और
हाँ,
बिल्कुल नहीं है। आपका अगर बैटिंग ऑर्डर आप देखोगे, आपके बिल्कुल नीचे आपका जाकर ये आते हैं, कृणाल पांड्या आते हैं
कृणाल
ऑलमोस्ट 6
पांड्या,
या 7
हाँ,
नंबर पे।
जैसा हाँ,
इसके लिए फिर दैट इज़ वन पार्ट, एंड दैट इज़ वन पार्ट दैट इफ यू लुक इनटू एवरी अदर, व्हेन वी वर डिस्कसिंग सीएसके, इफ यू रिकॉल, they literally had left and right hand
लेफ्ट
alternate
हैंडेड
left
थ्रू
and right hand
आउट, या
combination. Yeah, and this way gets very critical. This gets very critical because it you kind of disrupt the bowling. uh, कुछ चीजों पे आपको दिख जाता है कि आपके बाउंड्रीज छोटे होते हैं, वहां पे योर यू यू ऑलवेज हैव अ प्लेयर हिटिंग इन दैट शॉर्टर आर्क। तो ये सब कुछ आ जाता है जो आईपीएल जैसे टूर्नामेंट के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। बट ठीक है, आई थिंक दैट्स वन पार्ट दैट दे कुड हैव डन बेटर, बट या बट आई थिंक क्या करोगे, सब कुछ तो टिक नहीं
क्या
हो
करोगे
सकता।
सब कुछ। ठीक है, तो क्विक क्वेश्चन कि CSK वर्सेस RCB in Chepauk and CSK versus RCB in Chinnaswamy. What would be your picks?
जिंक्स, रिवर्स जिंक्स, पता नहीं क्या इस बार काम करेगा।
रिवर्स जिंक्स ठीक है।
आ, नहीं यार, सी आई विल, इट्स दिल से तो ऑलवेज आरसीबी, एंड
दिमाग से
दिमाग से सिर्फ वेरी डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। ऐसे यार, ऐसे तो ब्रैश फैन बन के हम बहुत कुछ बोल सकते हैं, ठीक है, बट यू नो
हुँ,
आईपीएल इज सच अ, इट्स एंड बोथ द स्क्वाड्स लुक गुड, बोथ द स्क्वाड्स आर गुड, बोथ द स्क्वाड्स हैव द एबिलिटीज टू प्ले आउट। जैसे हमने देखा है कि सीएसके के पास बहुत अच्छा स्पिन ऑप्शन है, बट पेस ऑप्शंस आर लिटिल डिप्राइव्ड। Both they have their own strengths and weaknesses to play around with.
ट्रू,
Now it's honestly a thing of the day. It's very difficult to predict,
ट्रू।
especially at this stage when we are sitting at least 4 months out of the
जस्ट
tournament. Yeah.
या
So let's
गुड
not let's not get into that brash, brainless fanism and predict.
प्रेडिक्ट एब्सोल्युटली गुड वे
After
टू
all,
गो
we are not
अबाउट
a
इट।
we are not a we are not a Instagram से knowledge लेने वाला channel.
हाँ, और क्या नहीं, नहीं लिटरली और बहुत मुश्किल होता है बिकॉज़ इट रियली कम्स डाउन ऑन द डे एंड सम सी इट आईपीएल इज़ सच आल्सो सच अ स्मॉल फॉर्मेट दैट ओनली 1 और 2 प्लेयर्स कैन रियली टर्न द डे फॉर यू। तो वो भी
Yeah.
थोड़ा रहता है कि लाइक हाउ द फॉर्म कम्स अप एंड बट गुड बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग। सो वेरी क्विकली व्हाट वुड बी योर टॉप 11?
Top 11, my starter would be, I don't have the team with me right away,
कोहली,
but
सॉल्ट,
I'm just making it
पडिक्कल,
as we speak. No, so Kohli, Salt, then your third will be either David or David maybe.
टिम डेविड ठीक
No,
है,
no,
वो
sorry, Rajat. Rajat is there, na? Oh
करेक्ट
God. Rajat
रजत
is there. So
पाटीदार
Yeah. So Kohli, Salt, Rajat, and then it can be David slash Jitesh. मैं बना ही रही हूँ साथ साथ में.
हाँ, मैं भी बना रहा हूँ।
ये हो गया आपका
जितेश
टॉप
जितेश
4.
स्लैश जितेश स्लैश
डेविड.
टिम
डेविड.
डेविड, ठीक है।
हाँ. फिर आपके पास रोमारियो शेफर्ड भी है. फिर आ जाएगा आपका लिविंगस्टन
लिविंगस्टन एट
स्लैश
नंबर 5 थोड़ा
5,
जल्दी
मतलब
नहीं हो जाएगा?
कृणाल या लिविंगस्टन कोई ऊपर नीचे आ जाएगा ना.
ठीक
आपको
है।
5 और 6 नंबर. चलो हम देख लेंगे एक बार लास्ट में. ये हो गया. देन आपके बॉलर्स आ गए हैं. बॉलिंग यूनिट कौन रहेगा आपका? दयाल, हेजलवुड.
दयाल, हेजलवुड, भुवी, अगर इसको पकड़ के चलते हैं अभी, तो बैटिंग डेप्थ और आ सकती है क्या?
हाँ, आ सकती है. दयाल, हेजलवुड, भुवी स्लैश सुयश. चार आपके फॉरेन प्लेयर्स कौन है?
तो
चार
देखो, एक
फॉरेन
तो
प्लेयर्स.
सॉल्ट तो
हेजलवुड.
पक्का हो गया, लिविंगस्टन पक्का है,
हेजलवुड,
मेरे हिसाब
सॉल्ट,
से हेजलवुड
लिविंगस्टन.
पक्का है।
हम्म.
एंड देन टिम डेविड और
It will be a up between Tim David and Bethel, right? Bethel is your left arm spin.
what I'm thinking is that कि would they go for Bethel or maybe Suyash Sharma?
No, I think that was not the, that will never be the choice, no? The choice will be about whether you're foreign, like up between Bethel and David,
And
maybe.
okay,
Because David offers your fast right arm medium, na?
लेकिन वो बैटिंग का ऑप्शन अच्छा प्रोवाइड, हाउ इज बेथेल ऑन द बैटिंग?
Not seen too much, but he is largely a bowler.
ट्रू, तो वही मुझे लग रहा था कि हम्म, थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है इनका प्लेइंग
नहीं नहीं,
11
ऐसा तो
बनाना।
नहीं. तो ये 4 हो गया. तो कोहली कोहली, सॉल्ट, रजत, डेविड स्लैश जितेश, लिविंगस्टन, कृणाल आपका टॉप 6 हो गया. देन आपके बॉलर्स में आ जाएंगे हेजलवुड, दयाल, भुवी
ठीक है,
स्लैश सुयश,
ठीक है,
डिपेंडिंग ऑन द कंडीशन.
ठीक
और
है।
आपके दोनों बाकी और कौन से, ये दोनों आपका स्पिन ऑप्शंस है. कितने हो गए? 6 और 4 10. और एक कौन आ जाएगा?
नहीं, 9 हुए ना? कोहली, सॉल्ट, पाटीदार, जितेश स्लैश टेम, लिविंगस्टन, पांड्या 6, दयाल, हेजलवुड, भुवी स्लैश सुयश, सो 9।
सो आपके यहाँ पे तो बेथल आ सकता है ना.
But how about also playing in Padikkal in the top 6, 7?
आई थिंक फोर्थ में पडिक्कल कैन कम.
And that provides a depth कि Tim David or Jitesh Sharma could be 5, Livingston 6, Pandya 7. So that gives a lot of hitting power in the middle, which is necessary. And then it's not just dependent on Livingston क्योंकि Jitesh Sharma can also hit, Pandya can also hit. So that's important. So Padikkal comes in and think about it. Padikkal playing in Australia for test match, like playing test match in Australia, coming in after a formidable series. तो वो confidence क्या होगा? मतलब I think that is going to help a lot in terms of how he would
या
take this
माइट बी.
IPL. तो वो एक important ठीक है. So that means that now we are at 10 with the inclusion of Padikkal and एक bowler और चाहिए, which I think
Which I think
maybe
will be, yeah, will again will be
रसिक
depend on
धर.
your
हाँ, हाँ,
will
हाँ.
depend on your condition कि क्या से कहाँ पे खेल रहा है.
Correct, correct, correct. Interesting. Cool. Very
ठीक है.
nice. Very nice,
Cool. So
Romy. Good.
definitely my top 2.
Definitely the top two. Wow. No, not even top four.
Okay, we'll
I
see.
think we will see. We
Mark
will
this.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So next we will come back and chat about you choose.
I think how about going for Sunrisers in Lucknow?
Okay. ठीक है.
That would make sense, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to
Okay.
you. Bye bye. Take care.